everyone. My name is Dr. Valheim. Today's date is 3/1/21, currently 2:21 p.m. And the subject at hand is COVID-19, tips and tricks for surviving a virus. Now, before I get to talking about our virus, I'm going to mention one that happened, say around 700 years ago. This one is known as the Black Plague, also the Black Death. It took out around 2/3 of England's population at the time. Now, the reason that I bring up the Black Plague today is for one group of individuals in particular. They are known as plague doctors, and their main goal was to protect themselves and those around them from their virus. They were often found wearing long black clothing that has been waxed over for protection, as well as a leather mask in the shape of a crow's beak with holes dispersed throughout it. It is my goal today to show how we have improved the method of the plague doctors of using masks to protect ourselves from said virus. Well, firstly, if we want to know how we've improved upon their design, we're going to have to know how their mask functioned. What we do know about it is that they would often find themselves stuffing it with different types of medicinal herbs in hopes of preventing themselves from contracting the Black Death. It was a pretty simple concept back then, but it was definitely an effective one. Now, the way that we've improved upon it is that instead of relying on different herbs and medicine to put inside of our mask to protect us, we use a type of air filtration system in our masks that limits all the airflow that we can get at one time. The next thing we're going to be looking at is the plague doctor's clothes. They wore very, very thick black attire, and they coated it all in wax. They also wore different types of gloves and very thick leather boots in order to limit the amount of skin that touches the outside air and anyone around them. This did help prevent them from getting the virus, but it also weighed them down immensely. Funny enough, when we are talking about clothes, we take a page out of the Plague Doctor's book. No, I don't mean that we ended up wearing different styles of black clothing with wax on it. I mean that we tried to limit the amount of skin that we'd show at one time. Whereas when they wore it, it was to protect themselves from anybody who contracted the virus. But when we wear it, it is to protect ourselves from the virus that is airborne as well as those who may have contracted it around us. Finally, we come to what the plague doctors would carry on them at one time. They would usually have a black doctor's bag with many different tools in it. They used it for their practice of, if you could even call it, medicine. They considered treatments like bloodletting an extreme success. But those tools are not what I'm talking about. The one that made it all the way to current day is a long black, usually black, stick. Yes, it seems simplistic, but it is actually quite useful when put to good use. Not only can it be used to help one get around, but it could also be used to keep somebody away from somebody who may have been infected with the virus. Due to their long canes, some plague doctors were also known as Grim Reapers, because of the correlations some would place between a long black cane and a long black scythe. Though we no longer carry the moniker of the Grim Reaper, some of us still choose to carry such a long cane. Yes, some use it simply for walking, but others use it in a more flamboyant manner, using it to keep at least 6 feet away from somebody else who they might have seen who may have contracted the virus. The reason this is a 6-foot radius is the minimum in which somebody could stay safe and still be around another person. Remember, in this current world that we live in, it is always important to stay at least 6 feet away from each other, to wear your mask, and not let history repeat itself. Thank you for tuning in. Now we have to tune out.